What Pittsburgh Steelers fans, it is Matty Peveril and Marky D here with you for another Mad Monday show. Mark, you're living up to the dream when it comes to Mad Monday, feeling a bit dusty, I believe.
Mate, slim dusty. I feel, well, yesterday was my, it was, mate, awful. I had a few sherbets over the weekend for an engagement party. Great time, awesome time. But I had far too many. Came home at 4 a.m. and I pretty much had the whole day off. I couldn't play pickleball, couldn't do videos, couldn't go driving, couldn't do anything. I stayed in bed with a massive headache, and I was like, I am getting older. I need to be more smarter. I don't know.
Shit, man.
Right? And I've got your wedding coming up. I might wait until your wedding at the end of the year. I get prepared for that. That might be the next time I drink.
I don't think so. I think you'll be drinking.
It has to be. I can't. Hey, yeah, I can't. I can't handle it. I can't handle it anymore. So I'm gonna have to wait until the end of the year. That's the next time.
Nah, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. It won't be. It won't be a good time at mine if you do that.
Once of alcohol done.
All right. Yeah, that's it, man. It's gonna be some good alcohol too, so you want to work your way up for that one. But free agency frenzy's here. I mean, we've talked on a few shows lately about free agency, but I don't know. For me, it's when we're recording this, it's Monday evening. I remember woke up this morning and was hearing things about the trade for Jalen Ramsey. Things are happening now, so yeah, I mean it's happening full swing. So I guess. By the time we go to air for the US's, Monday, that's what this show is focused on. That's why it's Mad Monday. More of these dominoes are going to start to fall. So how are you feeling and what's your sense of things?
Look, I know we haven't got a title right away, but maybe the title could be, did we miss out on Jalen Ramsey? Because that's what I want to bring up. Because all I've seen in the internet in the last few hours on this Mad Monday is we missed out on Jalen Ramsey. And I've got my opinion on that. I don't think we did. But what are your thoughts? Like, what do you think? Did we miss out on Jalen Ramsey?
I don't know how you can miss out on Jalen Ramsey, and I kind of almost don't. It's kind of not free agency because he wasn't a free agent. So, I don't understand. Secondly, the Steelers. We talk about on our last show. We talked about the salary cap, and we talked about it through all the free agency shows. But the show we did on the weekend for Touchdown Under. If you missed that one, go back. You can find it on YouTube here at our channel. And as always, if you like our shows, hit the like button, subscribe, bell icon for the notifications. That way you can get our shows when they come to air. Find us on SteelersTDU on Anchor, Apple, Spotify. But if you go back and listen to our Touchdown Under podcast, we talked about the fact the Steelers have about $1 million in salary cap. Then they had the $5 million from the adjusted cap. And then they've got the the $12 million on top that, William Jackson III, cutting him provides. And then I talked about $26 million in other savings that they can get, plus another 25 to 30 you can get from restructuring Minka, TJ, and Cam Hayward if you want to. So from that perspective, the Steelers have salary cap if they want it. But the Steelers don't have salary cap sitting there. And even if they do, $17 million is almost a third of $60 million. So do you want to spend a third of their salary cap when they've got so many free agents on one player? And you're going to have to give draft capital up to get Jalen Ramsey. Now, ultimately in the trade for Ramsey, there was less picks used. But I don't know how you can miss out on a player that you were never in for. It doesn't make any sense. It's a bit like Andrew's stupid pony on the weekend that talked about the Steelers not being at Odell Beckham Jr.'s workout and that being a waste, they're making a mistake there. Why would you do that? Why would you go scout a player you're never going to sign? Go spend your time trying to draft a prospect for the future. Some of these things are just a waste of time.
That was my next question. Was why are we so upset, or some Steelers fans upset about not seeing Odell Beckham Jr. having a chance, the Steelers not going to his workout? I don't understand it. I don't think he's going to be a Steeler. There was no way that was going to happen.
Riddle me this. I saw a stat that a lot of head coaches don't go to the Senior Bowl. The Senior Bowl is responsible for 40% of players on average drafted each year. And Mike Tomlin goes there for the 3 days, and everyone loves him. All the players love him when he's there, and they all say they enjoy their meetings with the Steelers. The Steelers haven't had a losing season in 18 years.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of think the Steelers know what they're doing when it comes to this stuff.
You'd think so. You'd think so, right? But I think the two talking points from today will be in Mad Monday in the States now is that We missed out on Jalen Ramsey, which I disagree with. I don't think we missed out anything.
You can't miss something you're never in for.
True.
You only miss 100% of the shots. I mean, there's that saying you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. This isn't a shot they wanted to take. They weren't in the game.
Well, some people saying we missed it, which I disagree with. I think that they will go into free agent. It's happening today or around this time, right? The league year starts today. The tampering period, the next 48 hours. I think they'll start to work out stuff with Sutton or Kazi and Edmonds, and hopefully get all three if they can. That's what I think they're going to do. So I don't think we really missed out too much.
To get cheaper for or as much as the 17 million.
Exactly right. And then,
but also ask you this, right? I'll give you this added bit. I've been on a top quality cornerback for over a year now. If you look at it when I started talking about it last year, right? Through the draft or through and particularly with the guys that were available last year in the free agency, like Dante Jackson from Carolina, JC Jackson, who went from the Patriots to the Chargers. There was a few other guys in the mix. I've been on that since then. But would I rather still spend that sort of like the best part of that 17 million on an offensive lineman? Yes, because I want to protect Kenny Pickett. I'm spending that before I spend it on a cornerback. Like, again, like, I don't know why people think we're in there to trade for Jalen Ramsey and why we'd give up precious draft capital on top of that. Like, the thing for the Steelers that a lot of people don't get, we have the rookie quarterback. Those over the next 3 years, to us, it's about bringing as much ready-to-go talent and depth as possible so that we can spend money on the landmark 4 or 5 key guys each offseason, and we'll retain our landmark guys so that we can win now. Like, we got a Super Bowl window. Like, that's opening. From this season onwards, it opens. And it's not about necessarily winning the Super Bowl this season. It's about making the playoffs, winning a playoff game, maybe even 2. Then 2024, green light, let's go. Here we go, Steelers, here we go, right? It's always like that, but we're actually in a realistic chance of doing something. You're not going to give up precious draft capital. You're not going to give up precious draft capital. I said it again. Capital. It doesn't make sense. Capital.
What is the capital of of Australia? Sydney. No, it's Canberra. No, but I think I'm happy because I'm happy that it's coming to a point tomorrow, or the free agent thing's going to start, because there's still going to be rumors, and rumors are great. We put ourselves in that speculation land, and it is fun. But to a certain degree, you can't push that Jalen Ramsey narrative and go, will he come over and save the day? It was never going to happen. Like it was never going to happen, right? And even I've heard like maybe Aaron Donald.
But I got a question as well for people out there, right? Jalen Ramsey is a sort of player that can do anything in any type of defense. But how much disenfranchisement would Jalen Ramsey cause Minka Fitzpatrick? Do you know what I mean? Like, I'd love to see Dylan James in a Steelers uniform. I think the stuff that Mike Tomlin could do with him, and particularly last season with Brian Flores, would be incredible. But how does that alter Minka Fitzpatrick's game? And do we want to alter the best safety in the league's game?
I think we have our guys. You know what I mean?
So like, I kind of sit there. I'm like, well, we need it. Don't get me wrong. We need a top quality cornerback, and I'd still love a Patrick Surtain or a Sauce Gardner. But we don't need necessarily the best player at the position in the NFL, because how are you going to be able to balance the rest of the defense against that?
So they just wouldn't throw to the right-hand side. No one's going to throw that way.
But it also, like, if you're going to make Ramsey free roam, because I've seen him used in some of those sets, or move him around to key spots, what are you doing with Minka? Yeah. Right? I just...
No, that's why I don't think about these things. I'm glad it's here now, because you do got to play the speculation game. We are on YouTube. We need, the clicks, the views, and we support everyone who watches our channel. At the same time, you still need to be realistic. And I think we know our Steelers enough. Even though over the years I've been doing this stuff on podcasting. Oh, you're from Australia. You don't know anything. I was like, well, I do know what the team does every year. Also, we don't go out there and do big moves.
If you go look back at, I don't want to disturb my internet connection, but if you go back and look at Steven Nelson's deal, I'm sure Steven Nelson's deal, like, I think it was like $9 million or something for a year. I'm going to pull up on my phone. But with Steven Nelson's contract, that was like Jalen Ramsey per year is like, I think he's more than a half of Steven Nelson's contract, which means that, like, is the Steelers ever going to spend $17 million on a free agent? No. Like, he was the most expensive free agent. So it doesn't matter. Like, I don't understand how people thought Jalen Ramsey was coming to the Steelers. Doesn't make any sense.
But there was a thing on the internet, and then you see, well, we missed out. And I was like, I don't think we missed out at all. I want to see the Steelers take care of business at home, take care of Carsey, Sutton if they can, and Edmonds. If they can get all three, fantastic. If they can't get 2 out of 3, fantastic too. But I think these stories are coming to an end to a certain degree, because the other one you said, your mate Pony, right? I don't know, the Express or whatever. He might be one of the worst takes on the internet, and he's got more access than we do to the team. But he was annoyed that the Steelers didn't go to the camp, and that was my second question, right? He didn't go to the camp of Odell Beckham Jr. I don't care. We don't need Odell Beckham Jr. We have 6 receivers. Two are free agents that they should sign, Sims, and maybe sign Boykin, depending on what they do on the teams. You don't need an Odell Beckham Jr. to come in. Like, you don't need one of those high-priced guys.
But again, I go back to that whole analogy with Fitzpatrick and stuff. And I'm not saying you don't bring in a good free agent simply because you disenfranchise players. But how much ball is Odell going to want that we already want to give to Deontay Johnson and George Pickens? And we've got Freiermuth there as the third receiving target. Yep. And I want to see them work Najee more into the short passing game. And Najee's going to run the football. And then you've got Hayward doing some X Factor stuff. You only need another third wide receiver. We don't even know what Calvin Austin's going to be for the Steelers. Where's he getting that ball? Why are we doing that?
I don't know.
Why aren't we getting a trench? Why aren't we getting a trench piece on either side? That's bread and butter.
But it is funny what you say there, because you talked about that Mike Tomlin being involved with Senior Bowl, and no one gives him credit for that. Actually, no one gives Tomlin credit for anything. But the minute the wind blows, they say it's his fault, right?
Correct.
So him being at the Senior Bowl, working with the young fellas who do get drafted 40% of the time, we're going to see guys like that on the team, and they're more worried about Odell Beckham Jr. and Jalen Ramsey becoming they're high-priced guys. But in my opinion, there's no point having them over. Now, if there was a need there was no Minka, there was no anyone like that, sure, maybe bring them in. But we already have the guys like that. We have Minka, TJ Watt, and these guys, foundational pieces. Just sign back Sutton or sign back Edmonds, and this team is ready to go. If they're healthy, they're ready to go. That's what I'm excited for. I know it's in every year we get so hyped to get the big players. No, I'm excited to bring in the boring players, or not boring, but just the normal guys who go, who's that guy? Who's that guy? I don't care. I'm fine with that, because they're 9-8, and you're right. A young team on offense is now going to be competitive to try and win the North. This is the time from this moment, and for Tomlin to really make his, look, for the Tomlin haters out there, this is the time he's going to hopefully shut them up.
You've got 2 things happening. So Deshaun Watson's already been paid. The Cleveland Browns, even though they've got the most cap, right, this season, they've got $251 million, $27 million over the cap because of their adjusted cap from last year. There's rumors already that they're going to have to get rid of Nick Chubb to find money.
Really?
Right? Yeah, I've seen the rumors there. Now, that could be a rumor. He might be staying, whatever. But they're already starting to struggle with money. So that's a problem for them. And they've got all these O-linemen that they're not going to be able to keep. And Amari Cooper on a big contract, blah, 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 blah. You've got Mixon doing and Jamar Chase doing whatever the hell they're doing for the Bengals. But Joe Burrow's got to get paid. The Ravens are either going to have to pay Lamar, and whether that's transition to the transition tag this year and then a contract, or they're going to let him go. If they pay him, they're going to struggle to keep people, and particularly a lot of their defense. And if they let him go, they're probably going to be struggling because they're not going to have a cornerback, like a top quality quarterback, to replace him. The Steelers' time is now. We've got a rookie Kenny Pickett, and we're going to get money in the cap. So this is exactly as you say, Mark. This is the time to get the pieces, the bread and butter pieces that are going to win you. Well, we only need to win 2 more games. If we can just win 11 games.
I've got another one. I've got another one, and I won't name the Steelers site, but it's just going for the news now just to see what's going on. It says here the Steelers need to pounce on Adam Thielen. What are your thoughts about that?
Why? It goes back to what I just said about Pickens, Deontay, and Freiermuth. What is Adam Thielen at his age going to do for the Steelers that Freiermuth can't do today?
I don't know. That's what this article tells me.
Zero. I'd rather use a first-round pick on a tight end than bringing Adam Thielen. It makes no sense.
It says this article says here that should be adding a veteran to the room.
Which idiot publication?
I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say anything, mate. I'm just putting it out there. You guys can do the good.
Are you talking about our former employer?
Nah, it's not them. They're good blokes. It's not them, mate. No, it's not them.
I was going to say, there must be justification with that.
It's someone else. But it talks about having a veteran receiver. I'm like, well, we have DJ. DJ's a
Yeah, but you
veteran
can have a
receiver.
veteran receiver. It doesn't cost you whatever Thielen's going to cost you. Wasn't he on like 16 plus million with the Vikings? Something like that.
But what is that though? I guess, you know, that's why I'm happy it's coming to an end, because someone's cut and they're like, oh, Steelers will get him, but it never happens, right? And I'm kind of happy it never happens. You know, if we spend all this money on these certain players, then we're going to be like the Browns, right? The Browns are going to be in like financial
Adam
hell.
Thielen made like 25 million last year.
Yeah, right. Good for him. Oh, what that? I'm telling you, that was just one link that
I think about it like this: TJ Hawkinson got traded to Vikings this season. They get rid of Adam Thielen. Do we use Hawkinson as much as they're do we use Freemuth as much as they're probably using Hawkinson? Yes, doesn't make sense. Thielen, dumb idea.
Okay, what would your reaction be if the Steelers, you know, bit the bullet and brought in Thielen to the Steelers for a 2-year contract?
I'd be furious about it. It's a waste of money.
And
the Steelers wouldn't do it. The Steelers wouldn't do it.
They're not going to do it. You call up Tomlin and be like, hey, Tomlin, what's going on, man? He's like, you know. But it's not going to happen. So I don't know. I'm keen. I think I asked you this question the other day too. What's the first move? Is it the first move over the tendering stuff when, you know, Adam Schefter, Ian Rappaport, they're going to break stuff? Are they going to be talking about letting go contracts in the first 48 hours?
It might depend. I was having thinking about this the other day. Everyone expects the Steelers to do everything on day one.
Yes.
Right? Now, they've already done William Jackson III. Mm-hmm. They've already signed Anthony Miller, which happens with this thing. The Steelers can wait a day or two and watch other dominoes fall and go, okay, like, are you going to cut Miles Jack if no other decent linebackers are available? Probably not, because you want to get younger, you want to get cheaper at the position, or you want to trade him, right? So you want to get cheaper at the position, get a amount of some quality production. If not, the depth we. So with that being the case, I just sit there and I'm like, I think it's going to be like what it's like all last, where it's that like the stick figure poking the logo and saying do something. I think that's what the first 24 hours of free agency is.
I'm okay with that though. I'm okay with that. I find, you know, I don't think we need.
Well, look about last year. We did that. We still got Ogunjobi. Mm-hmm. We still got KZ.
Yep.
Still got Mason Cole, who's done better than what I thought he would. We still got James Daniels.
Too. Like it. Mm-hmm. I like those moves. I think they're all great. And we've got Miles Jack,
and we got Terrell Evans back. So, like, the only one that I'm really like, you probably want to pounce on, I think, is Sutton.
Right. But yeah, you're exactly right, because even those moves with Mason Cole at center, I didn't know who the bloke was. I knew kind of little bits of him, but the more he started to play last year and the more he started talking on the microphone with confidence and their group got better, they also improved their rush game from last year being 90 yards rushing to 140. And as much as I put my hand up and say Matt Canada was the worst, it improved. It improved to 134 yards average in the season, 15th best. That's the O-line pushing guys forward. And we brought James Daniel over. We saw the tape of him in the Bears. And you're like, guy's pretty good. Then he played really good as a Steeler. And now they're Steelers. Now they have those, 2 or 3 year contracts that we got last year. So we didn't do anything. Yes, they did. They got Kazi, who you find out when Kazi, right? You find out Kazi's good when he went down during preseason. And we started the season with no TJ Watt. And when Kazi started there and there was no Kazi at all, like, we couldn't win games. And now he should be signed back. So, yeah, man, that poking the thing, that makes no sense.
Yeah.
At all. We got Kazi's a good player. If we get him back and get back Edmonds and Sutton, it's going to be look out.
I'm worried about overpaying Kazi, though. I don't think he's worth more than $2.83 million a year. That's my thing, is I don't want to overpay him. Same as Robert Spillane. Like, I think we need to bring him back, but I don't want to overpay on Spillane. I don't want $5 million for Spillane.
Okay, what do you think is the Facebook reaction going to be to when they sign Robert Spillane to a 2-year deal? Or why? But he's a guy. The Steelers like him, and he played well the last 3 or 4 games.
If you sign Spillane, you've got a greater ability to cut or trade Miles Jack and save yourself $8 million. Like, could you bring back Spilly on 2 4-year deals with like incentive laden bonuses so maybe it's worth like 9 or 10. That's better for you right now than it is Miles Jack, because Miles Jack's $8 million a year, right? Even if you sign him at like Spillane on $4 million plus bonuses and incentives, maybe it's up to $5 million a year. You're still saving $3 million this year.
Yeah, I think what they shown their kind of cards last year when they played him more and sat back Devin Bush, and they also rotated in more Mark Robinson too. They showed. I'll be very surprised if they sign Bush back, but I don't think it's going to happen. But they showed.
Oh, nah, he's gone. I
Yeah,
think Bush wants to go to a 4-3 team or a team that plays even more out of the sub package than the Steelers. Like, bye-bye.
Yeah, so they showed their cards. They played Spilly more. They played Miles Jack more next team. Then they rotated in Mark Robinson, and that was working well in the last two games versus the Ravens and the Browns, which they both won those games with the chance of the playoffs. And then Joe Flacco stuffed it up for us. But imagine if Jets won that game and we're in the playoffs and we had a chance and we had, first someone, then it would have been fantastic, right? So they showed their cards. So I think Spilly's coming back for sure. And then, what you said, it might help out or free up.
Unless I think Tennessee need a linebacker, and he's from Tennessee, I'm pretty sure. So unless you got something that was hometown, but I also think he's really settled in Pittsburgh. I don't know why he'd leave.
I don't know. I'm just saying, yeah. So these are the moves that, like, yeah, what's the little thing, the little Android tall looking thing that's like pokes the Steelers like, come on, yeah, you're exactly right. Come on, do something. Well, there's not there from last free agency and from like the Steelers draft last year, they are doing things.
That to me, the draft is more important this year than free agency.
Yeah, right.
But I say that from a perspective, as long as you re-sign some of those key players that were on your team, right? Like, so I should say it better. Acquiring new players through the draft to me is more important than acquiring new players through free agency to me.
Yeah. So sign some guys, and then because obviously the mock draft's going to change a little bit, aren't they? Once the
like my show last week, and if you didn't check that out, one of the War Room shows I did on the channel was I talked about the value that players bring and the value of snaps, and the Steelers having over 34% of their defensive snaps from last year going in free agency unless they retain players. You need to bring those snaps back, because that way it allows you to get the best talent available in the draft, allows you to get younger in key spots or get depth in key spots, and it's cheaper. So as long as you can, put it this way, if you're going to spend $10 million on a player, you want him playing 80% of the snaps or being capable of it. You don't want him playing 20% of the snaps. So that's the thing the Steelers do very well in free agency. Otherwise, they wouldn't have had a winning record for 18 years. They go and get guys that can play a bunch of snaps, that can provide them with baseline coverage. It's the common thing in the NFL. Don't keep a player if they're going to make 30% more than another player, and they're only going to don't keep a player if they're going to deliver less than 30% more than another player who's cheaper at their position. It doesn't make sense, because if all the money you can save across 5 players, and this is sort of the approach I'm saying with Steelers free agency this year, you could, there's 5 players the Steelers could bring in that are in their free agent list right now for less than the $17 million that Jalen Ramsey costs. Do it tomorrow. You do that every time.
What are your thoughts on the reaction to Steeler fans talking about William Jackson III being cut? Not everyone, but I'd say a good maybe 5 or 10% of people that I saw on Facebook were like, "Oh, that's the worst move. Why would you do that? Tomlin is so inconsistent."
Well, like I said, and now Mark Caboli is on it. He put it on Twitter way after.
Did he really watch that show? Did he watch that show?
I don't know if he watched that show. I reckon he watched that show. But anyway, they could always bring him back, but they're not bringing him back at $12 million. I mean, Shaquille Griffin was going to get paid 13.1. Jacksonville cut him. Byron Jones from Miami, I think he was on 15.2 or something. They cut him. Do you think Byron Jones is worth $15 million? Definitely, if you compare him to William Jackson III, but I don't think he's worth $15 million. I don't think he's worth $12 million. So William Jackson certainly ain't worth $12 million. It's just stupid.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out if Mark Caboli really watches that show or not, because I thought the way you wrote that, I thought he did.
Listen. Well, we're going to wrap up the show pretty soon. So is there anything else that you wanted to cover off?
No, not really. I just wanted to rant about those few things. I just thought some of those things were just quite comical. We missed out on Ramsey. That's one of them.
So the falsehoods of free agency. That's what this show's really been about.
That's a great title, by the way, too. Write that down.
I am.
We can do a part 1 and part 2. That's fantastic. No, but like, okay, to summarize it, I think it was Jalen Ramsey. We missed out on Ramsey. No, we didn't. And then some reporters are angry about the Steelers not showing up to workouts for Odell Beckham Jr.
Also, right? I've heard the narrative ever since the report came out that he did the workout. The Chiefs are apparently signing Odell Beckham. So why would the Steelers go if the Chiefs are signing him anyway? Like,
go sign him and go show that replay from 2012 over and over and over. Like, we've never seen it once before in our lives. The most overshown replay is that replay, right? And then thirdly, or to one of the points we ended with was William Jackson III was cut, and that was the right decision, and everyone's shocked. He shouldn't be shocked. That was the right Steeler move. We knew it was the right Steeler move to happen.
$12 million. $12 million.
Yeah. And if he comes back, don't be surprised if he comes back either at a cheaper deal. And then they won't praise Tomlin then, or they won't praise the Rooney's organization then, you know. So they're all so reactionary about, oh, why would you cut a player? And then people also saying, why would you bring him in? Well, you got him for a 7th rounder. You gave it a chance. And it didn't work out. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. We use a 7th rounder on a holder 1 year. We use a 7th rounder on Chris Oladukin. They didn't work out. No one's up in hands about that. You brought in a guy who was a veteran and a round 1 pick. It didn't work out because of his injury. You cut him to save money. You'll bring him back if you want to bring him back. If that happens, there's nothing wrong with that.
There's plenty of players that they can trade to get the picks back later in the draft if they really need a pick later in the draft. So
yeah, I saw
they can trade back from 32. They can trade back from 32 and grab one. Easy. Trade back to 34 and you'll get a 7th rounder.
Yeah, I saw a comment saying this is why Mike is mediocre and stuff like that. And I was like, you don't understand
football. But Mike, that's not his job anyway. That's the GM's job. It's the dumbest thing in the world. Anyway, with that, we're going to leave Steeler fans to it. More shows to come from us this week as free agency happens. Hope you enjoyed the show. And as I said, if you like the show, hit the like button. If you're new to the show, hit the subscribe button so you can get more of Mark and Matty. And you can find us also on Anchor, Apple, and a Spotify at SteelersTDU. But Mark, as always,
go Steelers. Go Steelers. Here we go. Go.